Good morning, welcome to Natasha Makes. How are you this morning? My goodness, we've got here, hooray! This morning, I put a little thing out on Facebook last week saying, how do we feel about octopuses? It's not octopi, it's not what we all think. It's not octopi, it's octopuses, apparently, because I love them. I absolutely love them. As you've seen over the years, I've got my little candelabra octopus. Then Gemma bought me my glasses because I always lose my glasses. She bought me my glass holder octopus. I have one here, one in Cornwall. Like, I'm well served for octopuses. And so I've had some fabric that I've not let anybody sell. And every time that we've come to do perfect pairings or half meter heavens or something like that, and someone will go, what about this? Like, no, that's for my octopus. And it's taken me 2 years. Yeah, it's taken possibly more actually. And we only have a very little bit of this left because it was just going to be my own personal octopus, but I'm going to share my octopus with you today on account of last week we had some fabulous klimped fabric come up. We had some fabulous klimped fabric arrive, and I just thought, you know what? That could be my octopus. It's fabulous, it's decadent, it means that I don't have to do really tricky applique with tentacles all over the, like no, I don't have to do that. I could just use this. And so finally, my octopus has been born. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Now, let me show you two varieties of octopus. Oh, and before we go any further, if you haven't watched My Octopus Teacher on Netflix, please do, because it is the most beautiful documentary. Just incredible. Just incredible. It's about a filmmaker who has burnout, goes back home to South Africa, and just starts, for stress relief, just starts freediving in the ocean by his house. And he sees this octopus and he just gets to know her because he dives every day, and he just gets to know her and he builds this incredible relationship with this octopus. And it's just, it's just beautiful. So that would be my recommendation. I don't often recommend stuff because generally, you know, people disagree or whatever, and that's absolutely their thing. But no, if I could recommend to anybody something to watch on Netflix, it would be, obviously when you're not watching me here, you know, let's get our priorities straight. But when you're not, then I'll let you watch that. It is a Monday. Good morning. I'm just finishing off my last bit of prep. SJ, when she rang me to count me in, was just laughing. She's like, I can hear you still prepping, Kath. Like, I know. And it's my own fault, I'll be honest, because I did a thing where I was finishing off the pattern. And I went, so this was my initial design here. Okay. And it is, let me move my coffee out of the way. And it's a lovely pouch. It's got a nice bit of size at the side there, and it's envoyed and it's beautiful. And I actually had someone message me going, can I buy that please? I'm like, no, because I didn't quite, there were things that I needed to change about it. You know, as a first draft, it's okay, but it's not, it's got imperfections in it. But it gave me the idea that you can, how I wanted it. And the style of pouch that we've not done before, by the way, that I really like, that I wanted to try with you today. So then, today's one was born, which can be a handbag. Ha ha! Ah, it's a beautiful thing, because I know we're very, very, very low on my ombre fabrics. So this little chap, you can make it into a bag. Now they start off exactly the same. And I can tell you the only difference between this one and this one are steps 15, 16, 17 and 18. That's it. That's it. One will give you a boxy bag one will give you a pouch. So you're kind of getting a twofer with this pattern today. It's a 2 for 1. If you don't want to put an octopus on it at all, then you could just have it as actually a really nice shaped bag. There you go. Oh yeah, so the whole point of my design was that one of the tentacles went round to the back. That was always the design. That was kind of what set me off. Because originally it was going to be a cushion. And I was going to have the tentacle that just went round the edge of the cushion. But instead it's gone round the edge of the bag. So these are the 2 different styles, and again, like I say, there are 4 steps. 4 steps different. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. So then I was like, well, maybe I need to make both. So obviously I've now put that pressure on myself, which is why, hence why I am now still prepping. Yep. Whoops. But it has meant that lovely Sally, who's in cutting fabric with us today, it's like, Sally, you're an art teacher. Can you cut out my octopuses for me, please? And she's gone, is this a test? Like, no, this is today's show. Yeah. So yeah, that's where we are at today, hence why I am still cutting interfacing. For today's make, you can use H640 or H630, or if you've got any of the Black Legacy, we've run out. We used it in the kits for the bowling bag, and it was perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to, I've got my outer fabric and my interfacing, and I'm just going to interface those together before I show you today's stunning, stunning kits, because they are indeed stunning, stunning, stunning. Whee! Now, you can make this out of denim. You don't have to use my beautiful Klimt fabric. What? No, you're not. But if you do want today's kits, they come with 1/2 metre of the ombre, 1/2 metre of the lining fabric, which is just black, and they come with a fat 1/4 of the Klimt. Now, I made a stencil template out of my octopus, okay, and I have used steamer seam. So we've drawn around him, and I did say to Sally, because I gave this to Sally to do, and I said, Sally, I've run out of time. Could you do me 1 octopus going one way and 1 octopus going the other? And she said yes, and she has. Oh, thanks, Jane. So that's what we've got. But you can either trace, or you can make yourself a little template. I'm going to use this on lots of things. I'm not going to lie, and I will at some point do a cushion where he just creeps around the corner. Brilliant. Love it. But I did also think, how about him in denim? And you could just do him out of Liberty. Have like a Liberty octopus, and then you could line it in the Liberty as well. So that was another option for you. But let me show you today's kits. Guys, I can't lie, it's fastest fingers first. This ombre fabric from Moda is so old. We haven't stocked Moda now for years. So that's how old it is, and it is the last of it. So it's fastest fingers first. I only have one, for example, of the navy. In the navy. Which is what I did my sample out of. Okay? So you get your 1/2 metre of your navy ombre. And it ombres both ways, and you've got that lovely metallic going through there, which sort of look like bubbles under the sea. And you get your 1/2 metre of black, and you get your fat 1/4 of Kaufman Klimt. That, when that's gone, that's gone. I've only got one. I've got 4 of the ombre in the peacock, which is this one here. You can see what it ombres out to here. And again, that's my Klimt, and that's my lining in black. or I've got the onyx, which is this one here. And I've got that, again, with the black, with the klimt. So you're going to see what that looks like made up today as well. I've got 9 of these ones, but that's it. But what I do have far more of are the denim, okay? And I love the denim ones. There's no two ways about it. Absolutely love those. Because it just, that navy just sets off, the navy of the denim, or indigo rather, just sets off the klimt, which I love. And it meant I could put a really bright, vibrant, pick out the red from that for my lining. So my bag does indeed. And he really stands out against the denim. And then you've got that lovely hit of red when you open it up. And you can keep that just as a roomy pouch if you want, but if you want to add handles and whatnot, then of course you can. We have got these D-ring, screw-in D-ring sets. We've got those on the website. And it's great. It just means that if you want to, then you can just punch a little hole and just screw them in. But if you decide that you just want to use it as a pouch, they just look like an ornament. They just work effectively like a tab. I love these. They make me very happy. And the fact that I've now got an option to use him as a bag is brilliant. Let me pop that back in there. So that's the denim option, which I have more of. So it's entirely up to you. But when that klimt is gone, it is gone. That is now what is limiting these factors. But if you like these kind of fabrics, and maybe you want to do it with denim or a super spot or something, then just to bring to your attention, we have these lovely kits here. And this is your Caroline Gavin Dotty Lapis Marine. Now, I've got 2 of these left, but I thought that the octopus would look fabulous out of this. And you've got a ½ metre of marine there, so that could be your lining. Just grab yourself a little bit of denim or something and you are good to go. And then you can put, it actually comes with meters and meters and meters of this beautiful crochet binding. So maybe you want to make a cushion out of him, out of this one, and then you could bind it in that beautiful fabric there. Like I say, I've got 2 of these, but I just think this fabric really lends itself to an octopus because it looks like his suckers. Now, if you're after some denim and you're after some blues, then I have 2 left of these kits as well. Now, these will work beautifully with today's makes as well because you've got your denim. You've got all of these different fat quarters. So you might want to make your octopus out of that, or you might want to line it in that. You might want to use your Liberty. You've also got a tilde fat quarter in there. You've got all sorts, all in these fabulous blues. So again, you've got some lovely options there with this bundle. And these bundles were put together. We're just like, do you know what? We love so many different blues. And if they are your colourway, I think we might have, Gemma said we might have one of the green colourways left. But all the others I think sold. It was really lovely. Now, if you read the newsletter on Friday with your Friday deals, then you would have seen that we've got 25% off handles and bag frames. What are we making with them? Well, let's just have a look. So we have got various handles here that I can show you, and that 25% off is still valid. So these handles we made the hanging boot bag, but we've also done things like this with them. And this, crikey, I've stuffed this one. This is with your 18 centimetre frames. And the 18 centimetre tubular frames are also on a special offer, 25% off. That's also, if you put 18 centimetre, if you search 18 centimetre on the website, this pattern will come up. And we've got a few of the 18 centimetre, a few of, that's what I love about them, they open up so wide. A few of the 30 centimetre ones. Now with the 30 centimetre ones, we made these. And we only had 3 of the 40 centimetre I'm Not a Doctor bag ones. So those frames are on a special offer. And those handles are on a special offer. These are just really handy to have when you're making little handbags. They're on your Friday deals page, by the way. That's where to find those. Now this bag, I love this bag. I've used this bag so often. I love it. It's got a tortoise shell top. This was the faux tortoise shell frame bag. I've got mainly rose gold remaining. That's your rose gold. It's just so pretty. So pretty. And I love this bag. I really love this bag. It's such a nice size. Such a lovely size. And it opens out. I know you see. Yeah. Got all sorts left in here. Oh, I've got a Lemsip. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. I've done with that this week. What else have I got in there? Oh, a plaster. Oh, glasses cleaner. Oh, that's where my lip gloss went. Excellent. Good. Anyway, so yeah, I use this one quite a lot. Love it. Now, we also had the 20 centimetre frames as well. We've got them with either flower handles or we've got them with this lovely shape here. And again, you can get these chains, so you can make them into a over the shoulder handbag. Again, this is one that I use. If I'm wearing sort of black, or if I have to wear black, then this is the one. Sadly, with the year that we've had, the most places that these bags have been has been funerals, which is not ideal. And I'd like to say that was about to change, but doesn't look like it. This is the tapestry, M-frame tapestry. We've got some of these M-frames left. So you can either do one this size, or there is another version, which is this size. Oh, that's where my label went for that. There we go. So you've got 2 different versions of the M-frame. If you just put M-frame into the website, you will find patterns 3 for 2 still. I can't make it better than that for you. In which case, if you're after a third pattern, maybe the bucket hat. Emily's gone off in my favourite bucket hat today. With the sun, these bucket hats, brilliant. We love them, and they are fully reversible. Freddie has... If I wanted to just have a job making bucket hats, I'm pretty sure that Freddie could drum up enough trade, because all the kids in his class are like, oh, we love your bucket hat. But yes, it is brilliant. Thank you very much. Right. I've shown you my wares. Oh yes, I've shown you my wares. Or have I? I've got a few other little deals for you. I've got a few pairs of these left. Fiskars are my go-to. They are my go-to. And Sally, who's working for us today, she's also an art teacher, and she's had so many pairs of Fiskars off us as well, because we all love Fiskars. But I have got these ones. Where are mine? Who's had mine away? Oh, come on. Oh no, I've had them because I've been using them. These ones, if you suffer with any kind of dexterity, wrist issues, anything like that, can I really highly recommend these, because they spring back up, so you're not having to open, you know, if you've got a sore thumb or anything like that, then these are just brilliant. They're nice and flat along there, so that if you're cutting out patterns, it just glides. But it's spring loaded, so there's no pressure. You're not having to pull scissors open. And of course, they've got that Fiskars blade. Fiskars is named after a place. They have been making steel blades now for over 400 years. What they don't know about blades is not worth knowing. They recently took over Wedgwood, I believe. And so collaborations like this become a thing, where we've got kind of China prints printed onto the handles of our Fiskars scissors. Obviously my Moomin ones you've all seen. Love my Moomin. Who's had my Moomin ones away? Oh, come on. But these are on a special offer. These are on a special offer. And the pinking shears, you've seen me use these so often. If I'm going to spend money anyway, it's going to be on my scissors and my cutting, because they're the things that you use. They're your bread and butter. They're what you use day in, day out. And if you struggle with that at the beginning of a project, it's just not going to be fun. Look, I've had this. I don't think they even make this anymore, so I've really got to look after this. And I love this rotary cutter. You can see I've nearly worn through the handle there. I've used this for so long and had it for so long. So yeah, these, we've taken a big old chunk off these. You know, they're what we have left when they're gone. That was it. We can't ever make them. We can't ever make them that price again. So yeah, take a little look. Have a little rummage round. There's lots of deals to be had on that website. Go and have a rummage and enjoy yourselves. Jane, please could you, if you're listening from somewhere, and I really do kind of hope that you are, please could you possibly bring me in the roll of black zipper tape? That would be fabulous. So you are going to stencil or trace onto the back of your applique webbing. I've used steamer seam. We also stock heat and bond, Bonder web, all of these sorts of things you can use. So here are my two octopuses, one going one way, one going the other, just to show you that it's not the end of the world which one you choose. Now, I have interfaced my outer fabric. Let's start with this little chap here, shall we? Now, do we want him? Yeah. So you're going to find your halfway mark. Thanks, Jane. And you can have him there, you can have him there. And the beautiful thing about your heat and bond, not your heat and bond, your steamer seam, is that you've got 2 layers of paper, but then it becomes like fuzzy felt. So this is now sticky, so I can arrange him and put him wherever I please. Wherever I please. I'm not going to go below the 2-inch line. I don't want any tentacles below that 2-inch line, because by the time the bottom is boxed, that means I'm going to lose part of him. So I don't want to use the crikey, I need to be careful how I say this, tentacles. SJ's going to be having conniptions. Please don't say any words that you shouldn't. Sorry! Tentacles! Yes. We don't want any sneaky tentacles getting down there. Right. Equally, we don't want, and this was the mistake that I made with my first one, we don't want any up here getting in our seam allowance there. So, in this version of the bag, I did make it just a little bit taller so that we can pop him in there. And just be aware you are going to have a seam allowance around the side. But the beautiful thing is you can reposition him as much as you like. And when you're happy with where he is, he, she, then you are going to steam him on. This is my halfway mark. Okay, so I know that that is then going to sneak around the side. So that's how that is going to work there. So let's take this little chap off. Now he's going the other way. So I'm going to have to be clever about how we do this. So obviously coming away from the deep here. And that's okay. And the reason that I asked Sally, this isn't a mistake or anything, I specifically asked Sally to cut me one going one way and one going the other. She's like, is this a test? I'm like, no, does it feel like it? She's like, yes, this isn't my kind of art. That's okay. That's okay. Whee! And again, 2 inches off the bottom. And here's my middle line here. And maybe with this one, maybe we'll have it going down there like that. So you can have a play as to how you wish yours to be and to go. So maybe this one is leaving the deep. In which case so we've got one going back in and one coming out. And if I'd cut my ombre from the other way, then, you know, could have been, I could have had this on the darker fabric as well. But they are how I have chosen to use today's. And then, because it is steamer seam, we are going to steam that on. That will give us a permanent adhesion. Now, you know, if this is going to be something that's just going to be ornament and you're never going to actually use, come on, we've all got those bags that we just go, it's so pretty, I'm never going to use it. Or those where we go, yes, I'm going to use it. If you're going to use it, if it's ever going to be washed or anything like that, then you might just want to stitch around that outside. Okay. No. Hang on. Right, well, I'm going to have to stitch around this one now because I've just caught his tentacle. And you can, if you are someone that loves free motion embroidery, you'll whip round that in a second. I am not, for the simple reason I can't find my embroidery foot. So one I will embroider on, I will just stitch around the edge. You're going to see this does not need in any way, shape or form to be perfect. Before we do that, before we go that far, oh, the peacock and the navy kits have sold out. Well done. So it's just the black ones there to go. Okay, okay, this is good, this is good. I was just going to say, Gemma, hello to everybody, because, you know, that's sort of the polite thing to do, isn't it, really? Yeah. Just see if anyone's actually watching. I might just be talking to myself. There is always that chance. So who have we got here? We've got Jan here. We've got Susan. Good morning. Nikki's here. Morning, creative people. Sun is shining even in Stowe. Shouldn't have been difficult, but it was. Oh, how did your appraisal go? Sharon's here. Donna's here. Joe's here. Susan's here. Joy's here. Oh, she's a lovely sewing weekend. Susan says, yes, I've used the spring-loaded for more than 20 years. Fiscal scissors, she's they're great. Karen says, I don't wear jeans. No, you don't, because you always have incredible dresses. But how fabulous would he be appliqued on jeans? Would you have him just sort of with a... Yeah. Debbie says, I'm here. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Right, I'm going to crack on there with my demo. And say hello again in a minute. So, let's just... Right, when I say you really don't need to be, you're going to see, I am not going to be very careful about this, because I also understand this is not the most scintillating. You could do your overedge stitch on your machine. If you've got lots of fancy schmancy different stitches, obviously my machine, as we know, just does a straight stitch. Oh look, changed my needles this morning. Go me. It's like, yes, I've been sewing so many wax bags. I was like, I deserve a new needle this morning, so I did. But my goodness, those half-metre, half-hour bags have been so incredibly popular. Someone asked me for the members when that video, because I did make a members video for that, and I'm going to have to re-record it because for some reason the file has corrupted and Josh can't seem to understand what I've recorded it in, which is strange because it's the same as I record everything in, so I don't really understand what's gone on there. So please don't think that I have forgotten you. I will have to find myself a spare half hour and re-record that for our lovely members. Now, we are drawing close to, obviously, lovely Jane starts her Quilter with Jane very soon, her brand new quilt. You are not too late to begin. If you wish, then you could begin and start Jane's lovely new quilt. We are starting from the very beginning. You do not need any previous quilting experience. We have such a lovely membership group there, and you can come on camera or not, as suits you. It's really lovely when we do have people actually on camera. Gemma's there, I'm there, Jane's there, and it's just nice because we can all chat. So if you've missed Gemma's dulcet tones, then the members workshops are the place where you can catch up with her, see what she's been up to, depending on whether or not she's actually managed to, how many things I've given her to do in the morning, so whether or not she's managed to actually get up and put a face on, depends whether or not she will come on camera. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. I think at school they know what days I'm filming or not, just by the fact of whether or not I look presentable or like I've been dug up. If it's a dug up day, then they know. Whereas today, I've got my new shirt on, which I absolutely love. And I'll let you decide what sort of birds it's got on it. But it's made us chuckle all morning, because, you know, we're children. So, you don't have to free motion this. Obviously, if you did have your free motion embroidery foot on, you'd have done this by now, but it's really not the end of the world if not. I'm just using my ombre thread that I use for my cork, which is a kind of goldy colour, so it's blending in an absolute treat. where you realise we're only going to do one of these. The other one can just hang loose, it'll be fine. And we'll just test how permanent an adhesion that steamer seam actually has. The steamer seam comes with instructions every time. It's very simple and easy to use. You'll see me. It's my go-to for applique. I know that Jane likes Bonder Web. For me, steamer seam, just because I know that I can reposition it, which is just and if you want to, you can always put a little button there for an eye. That was the other idea. Never actually managed to get to that bit, but that was always my idea. Oh, Genevieve says, good morning, bit late. That's all right, Double Shaddai's here. Tanya's here, Cynthia's here. Greetings, amazing creatures, the octopus. We have an aquarium locally, saw the octopus get into a very small jar. And then a very small space, like a contortionist. They are just amazing, just amazing. Right, now, so where the fun begins, okay? And this is where I am going to actually have to be a little bit awake this morning. Now, I've said a 12-inch zip is what you need for that, and you kind of do, but this is just shy of 12 inches, so that's fine. It's still going to work because I'm going to chop off these corners in a bit anyway. So as long as they meet in the middle, we're all good. Where is my quilters wash away tape? Here it is. The ever required quilters wash away tape. Oh, let's not get my hair in there. Please do go right up against the top edge when applying your quilters wash away tape. On one of our retreats that we did, someone was placing it further down. Then it's going to show. The whole point is that it's 1/4 of an inch, so that yes, you can wash it out, but you don't need to with this because it sits within your seam allowance, because it is indeed 1/4 of an inch. So in the interest of using up extra bits and bobs, you are going to stick half of it one side, teeth down both side, and half of it the other. Actually move that one across a little bit. And then on top of that, we will then put another row of quilters wash away tape across there, like so. And we will put our lining fabric face down, right sides together. We're using a plain, there's no right side, there's no wrong side, but if we did, it would be right sides together. When I initially planned this, I wanted it to be able to be done in a 1/2 metre, but it's just not, in a long quarter rather, but which would mean that you could line it as well with your, but just, no, it just didn't quite work. So I had to revisit what we do to one, we're going to do to the other. So I always keep a lovely stash of zip on a roll, because it's just the most useful thing. And you can get some too. But it means that you've always got the right length. Next question. There it is. Woof, there it is. So that quilters wash away tape right up against that edge. split your zip into two, teeth face down. And away we go. Just cut that zip much longer. Am I going mad? Am I going mad? Did I not cut that? No, I didn't. Cut it too long. Helps if you accurately cut stuff, by the way. Face down. So you do need it to be 12 inches. Okay. And then again, if you don't use quilter's wash away tape to insert your zips, oh, make your life easy. Give it a try. It's so much easier. So much easier. It just helps you baste everything in place. Whoop, rather than use any pins. Because you've all seen me with pins. Well, you've all seen the blood after I've attempted to use pins. They're just not my friend. And that's okay. I'm resolved. And resigned, rather. Resigned to them not being my friends. I'm going to top stitch. I'm going to stitch along there. 1/4 of an inch for both. Hurrah. I'm going to do that with both of them. If my phone stops locking me out. Let's do that thing. Okay, so then we're going to flip that, and you can give this a little press. And that'll be great before you then top stitch. Looking lush already. Already, I tell you. So all we're doing here is just making sure that lining is sitting underneath, that zip is sitting nicely on top. And if you've sewn with a slightly scant quarter of an inch, I'm getting my teeth in today, then that's absolutely fine because you can just press and get rid of that. There we go. And we will top stitch along there in just 1 second so you can see the break in the zip there. We'll do that to this one as well. So you can see for both styles and designs exactly the same so far. Yeah, nothing is different, nothing has changed, nothing to worry about anywhere, all is good, all is well with the world. He is fabulous. Okay, let's top stitch then that zip in place. It will all start to make sense in a minute, hopefully. Hopefully. And the only reason that we didn't do our outer pieces in 2 pieces is because we want an uninterrupted tentacle. Really paranoid about saying it there. So the whole make was based around that wandering tentacle. Oh gosh. Okay. So, let's go. We are now going to fold this in half. I'm going to do one sort of fully, and then we'll come back and we'll look at those different measurements for that one. So we fold it in half, and you can fold it in half whichever way you want, doesn't matter. Fold it in half like this. Okay. So our edges are all nice and even over here. We've got that wandering tentacle there. Now you've got a folded side and you've got a raw edge side. Okay, and that is the key here. I am going to go back to my notes just to make sure it is those steps 15, 16, 17, 18 that tell me everything that I need to know here. Okay, get yourself a little ruler. I don't know when these perfect 5s are going to come back into stock. I know some of you have got them on back order with us. We will be the first people to get them when they come in, but Creative Grids themselves don't have a date yet. So I don't know if we're taking any more orders for them. So you have got a measurement. This one's going to be the bag. For this particular square with the 2 raw edges, and you are going to stick to that sizing and you are going to chop that out, okay? Now, on the other side, you have a fold, okay? Which means that you can take out the seam allowance. So that is why this side is different. So you still measure up the same amount, but you're going to go across without the seam allowance. Now you can work this out for yourself. There's always someone that goes, lovely make, didn't buy the pattern, just thought I would, I'd just watch the tutorial and do it from there. That's fine, that's absolutely fine. Just remember you've got to take your seam allowance out. It's not really fine because these cost us a lot of money to put these shows on, but there we go. Right, now, in the top corner, we are going to take out another square. It's slightly smaller than the other square that we took out down here, but again we're going to measure it from the top of the zip, otherwise it ain't going to work. All right, so I'm going to just measure twice, cut once here. Yeah, that's my interfacing, isn't it? It's gone a little bit longer there. Yes. Measure once, cut twice. We are good. So we've got 3 of them, and so we're going to have a slightly different size over here. Okay? Because we're still going to come down the same amount. But we're not going to go across as much, okay? And those measurements are in there for you. Okay, now we're going to insert the zip. We're going to insert the zip pull twice, okay? Why do we do this? we insert our zip pull twice so that it's closed. It's as simple as that. So we'll just use a normal black one. I did have gold ones earlier that I was using, but I've left the other ones in the warehouse. Flat side goes to the bottom. I will demo this as many times as we need here to show this. I have one attached to my desk which is so much easier because it doesn't move around. So I would, these have got little screw holes, you can screw these onto your desk. I would always recommend that you do screw them on with a firm base somewhere. And we're going to come in at a diagonal and a V shape and insert those ends there. Okay. Zip it off the other end. Okay. And then we're going to insert that zip again. And what that just means is that we've got it closed at both ends, which helps us tremendously. Oh, come on, sit in there. Helps also if I put that in. I'm so sorry. My daughter and my son, bless them. Actually, no, it was Josh's son and daughter. Gave him a horrible cold, which then went on to Freddie and Emily, and I was getting all smug because I thought I'd avoided it. I haven't avoided it at all, have I? Right, okay, so that's our zip, and it's now closed at both ends, which does make life now a lot easier. So, and you'll get to see all of this twice now, which is fine. So let's turn this through so that we have right sides together. Okay. Now obviously this is a folded edge. We don't need to sew on that at all. That's fine, we don't need to do that. But we do need to sew along here, along here, along here and along here. We're going to leave a turning through gap on our bottom. Okay? So let's do that, shall we? If you have just joined us, good morning. We're making all the octopus things in all the world this morning, which I find delightful because I love an octopus. And I was utterly delighted with how many of you seem to as well, which was brilliant news. Obviously I don't need to go down the folded edge because that's already done, but I will sew along the other side there. So we've done bottom and side, and then I'm going to marry up these side seams. You could leave your turning through gap, by the way, in the side seam if you would rather. That's entirely up to you. Sometimes I rather do that because then you can't see it, well, you're less likely to see my stitching when I sew it up. But as I've marked my turning through gap on the bottom here, let's just do that. Now, just a little thing to remember before we sew everything up is to open the zip up a little bit. I know we want it closed at both ends. We do. We do. However, we do also want to, where does it go? Be able to open it up in a little bit. Now, where it joins we're going to leave for a minute, but we are going to box the bottoms. Okay, now where you've got a fold, that folded edge just lines up with your seam there. I'm not going to keep changing my angle to sew across, you just have to bear with me. And where you've got the seams, they will nestle one and one. Okay, and that's why you've got 4 different measurements for each of those corners so that they will nest nicely. So that's the main body done there, and then we're going to do here, so that folded line marries there with my seam. Dee, 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 dee. And if for whatever reason it doesn't quite go straight, then that's absolutely fine. You can always just trim it back. As long as you do sew across it, you're good. Now the bit that we need to pay attention for is the next bit. So we've got all the bottoms boxed, no problem at all. I'm gonna get myself some clips. Don't know why I'm singing. Right, and let's start on these top edges because they're going to be sewn together as one. So my side seam and my zip, they are going to go together there. Now if you need to clip it, that's fine. So that's my main body piece there, okay? And then here my lining, again, so where these corners, that right angle corner is, you can always pinch it and just pull it apart if you want. But that's where they're going to go. So I'm going to line these up one on top of the other, so that those seams meet with the zip in the middle, and I now have a straight edge to sew across, and I'm going to be sewing through all those layers. So I've got my outer fabric and my lining fabric, and I've layered them up. Okay, that is what we're going to sew across. Let me show you here. So I've got my outer fabric, then I've got my zip, and then I've got my lining fabric, and they are the layers that I've got there to then sew straight across. And let me do that on a close-up for you here. Okay, so this is the folded side. So that's the middle of my fold, you can see that. That's my zip. Those two go together. That becomes a flat edge there. And if you want to, you can clip those. Ooh. You can clip those. And then my lining, again, that fold is going to come to the zip. That folded edge is coming across to the zip, and that layers them all up together, and we sew across there. Then I can see the edge of my tentacle, so we're going to avoid sewing him, but we are just going to make sure we have sewn across everything. Yes, we have. Okay, so now the moment of truth. So in the turning through gap we go. Hope that we've left enough of a gap with our zip. If not, at least you've left enough of a gap to be able to turn that through. Here he is, looking rather wonderful. Look at this lovely boxed sides that we've got there. So you've got quite a contrast on one side, but this side, it ombres. It's funny, whenever I buy an ombres, they either are an absolute hit and they fly out the door. I love an ombre, or people don't know what to do with them. But a project like this is absolutely perfect. And in fact, I've got a spare thread there. This is a great, I was at a festival yesterday, Josh was playing with his band, and I saw a lady with a bag this sort of size, with, you know, the straps that we were selling last week. Let me show you. These straps. She had one of those straps onto a bag like that. So you could just do that out of denim, forget the octopus, and put a fancy strap on to the bag, and you would be, didn't quite sound right, did it? And that would be absolutely lovely as well. So there is your octopus. So that's the bag, okay? Now, in order to make it a bag, because at the moment it doesn't really look much like a bag, what have I got? Here we go. These, for you, come in sets, 12 sets make it, so that's 6 pairs. And if you want to pop these on, then I'd measure down anywhere between an inch, half an inch, wherever you want. And then you're just going to make a little hole there. And then the screw part goes through there. Helps if you actually put it through the little hole punch that you made. Come on. There we go. And then you screw on your D-ring, which works an absolute treat. One of these tools is perfect. It's the Rolson multi-tool. It's got lots of different size, really, really tiny screwdriver heads. And you see, there you go. You've got your D-ring ready to put your bag, ready to make it a bag. Now, you don't have to. Obviously, you don't have to. Now here, don't cut right into your stitching. Please just pop to one side. Pop to one side. Only needs to be ever so slightly to one side, but just so that you don't obviously cut through all your stitches, because that would be a shame. Yes, it would. Crying shame. There he is. And there you go. So if you wanted a roomy octopus bag that goes around like that, and that will, when you wear it, you'll see him disappear around the side, which is rather lovely. And again, like I say, if you don't want to have it as a bag, but you love the size of this one, because it's boxier and roomier, then that's absolutely fine. Those act as tabs. Works a treat, whichever way. So that is octopus number 1. There he is. Let's do octopus number 2. So the only thing that is different here, well, there's a couple of things different here actually. Because my octopus is going in the opposite direction, Then the side that my raw edges is on is opposite. And the sizes, oh, excuse me, will be different. Okay, so on this one, so we're doing, it's not going to be as boxy, all right? And that's fine. So we'll get these all measured out. And remember, every time we are measuring from the top of that zip, okay? From the top of the zip. And these ones are small. They are. There's no two ways about it. But again, all the measurements are in your instructions. So like I say, it becomes sort of a two for one. These instructions. Almost a three for, because if you didn't put the octopus on, you could just make a lovely bag out whatever fabrics your heart desires. So let's pop a zip pull onto this little chap, and again we're going to double zip it. So what do I mean by that? We will put the zip on twice. I mean, you could put 2 zip pulls on, but we're going to put 1 zip pull on, and we're going to put that on twice. Okay, and I do wait until this stage, because then you've cut these evenly and they're flush, and we're all good to go. But if at any point when you put these on, if these are sort of not straight, then you just do it again, because you do want them nice and straight. So again, the front of the zip facing forward, the bottom of the edge, bottom in line there. We're going to pull this apart. Double demo. Yeah, see, I can see that hasn't. Can you see it's not quite straight? So that's not okay. So we just do it again until we do make sure. I don't have it such a long way away, doesn't it? That's a bit better. There we go. Okay. And so here we are. We're going to make sure that's open a little bit. Turn it through so that we are right sides together. So the lining sides are right sides together and the outer sides are right sides together. And exactly the same is going to happen. It's just that steps 15, 16, 17 and 18, 15, 16, 17, 18, sorry, were different. That is it. So yeah, you can look away now if you're bored, if you're like, oh, I've just seen that, don't want to see it again. Then that's absolutely fine. Come back and join us in a couple of minutes where you'll see the finished item. Any minute now. So we're going to sew along the base. And I won't sort of go close up on the boxing of the bottom, but the boxing of the top, yes I will. So I'll just whiz this up very quickly because I'm very aware that you have already seen this once. So on the bottoms here, we pull them aside, we line up on that fold, and away we go there. And again here, finding seam to seam, and you can knit those together. They will knit quite nicely. And that's the base of my outer fabric done. Now let's sew up the lining, leaving a turning through gap in the base. Now you see, this is it with this camera angle. You will now see my concentrated face, which will often have my tongue hanging out. I do apologise. My daughter's the same, and I do have to giggle. I'm like, oh, that apple did not fall far from the tree. God love her. So again, let's box the bottoms, and then I will come in close again for you to see how we are lining up those top ones, because that's the only thing that's different to how we would normally do any of these things. Do. There we go. Okay, so let's come in close, shall we? I've already got my clips from last time. So this is my outer. I'm going to pull it aside. I'm going to line up this side seam with the zip. Okay. And this is a much, much smaller box here. Okay. You might just manage to clip it or not. But then your lining fabric, again, pull it apart so that you get that straight line, and that center seam is marrying up with my zip. Let's just sew that down here. And then, so I've sewn straight across there, and now let's go again over here. But this side's already, can you see? It's already sort of marrying up as we want it to. If you need to, then clip it, but otherwise that gives us a nice straight line to just sew across. And this is much helped. Is that even a sentence? Is it? Greatly helped. That's better. This is greatly helped by the fact that we closed that zip twice. Because if you had zip ends that weren't together, oh, it'd be right faff and a nightmare. So obviously you will go ahead and sew up your turning through gaps, but what you have here, you just get a longer view of that octopus. Okay, like I say, the very first one that we've got on the set, that was my very first go, and these were so fiddly and small. They just weren't worth doing. But you can see that is looking rather fabulous. And if you want to make this even longer, you can make it longer if you wish. But you can see how you've got that longer view of the octopus there, or you've got him sort of making his way around that bag there. they are your two options today. Now you see, if I were having this as a pouch, obviously you'd start turning through gap and everything, but if I was having this as a pouch, I would probably pop myself on a little tassel. I might treat myself as we speak and find myself a glorious tassel. Ooh, what have I got down here? I do, it's sad, isn't it? But I do have a box down here called Tash's Tassels. Oh, that's the one. There we go. And there you go. You could always put one on him as well. So there we go. That is today's make. Enjoy. There he is. Tomorrow, Jane is with us and she is making this gorgeous cushion which goes so beautifully with the quilt that we did last week. So do join us for that. We will be here at 10 o'clock. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. When these kits are gone, they are gone. You can grab your hardware, you can grab your zips, you can grab everything that you need, your interfacing, everything that you need from us today. When that klimt is gone, it is gone. That's it. We only have what we have. But we will see you tomorrow. Thank you ever so much for watching. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.